For my Black History Live on Stage Final project, I chose to tell the story of Recy Taylor. Recy Taylor's story has always inspired me and broken my heart, and it is a story that needs to be told for decades to come. Recy Taylor is truly a testament to the strength of Black women. Her injustice and her fight and her tears and her heartbreak and everything she's faced throughout her life will continue to resonate with Black women for many, many, many years to come. In telling Recy Taylor's story, I've employed many elements to help bring her story to life and make it feel as real and as raw as possible. Thank you for allowing me to tell this story, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to paint you a portrait of Recy Taylor's world. The same world that fostered the systematic abuse, disenfranchisement, and sustained violence against African Americans, and most especially African American women, who had no protection and no status in American society. Feelings of xenophobia and nativism were at an all-time high when Recy Taylor was born, and when she grew up in 1920s America. In fact, things had gotten so bad in the Jim Crow era South, where Recy Taylor was born in Alabama, that millions of African Americans migrated to the Midwest and northern cities. Unfortunately, this led to clashes between African Americans and the white people who lived in these areas. Race riots and lynchings became commonplace throughout the 1920s, leading to songs such as Billie Holiday's Strange Fruit. By the time Recy Taylor reached adulthood in the 1940s, things were not much better. Although many African Americans served in the military during World War II, they still faced segregation, violence, and racism on all fronts. So into this world, and into this continued fight for justice, Recy Taylor was born. Good morning and hello to all of you here today. My name is Recy Taylor, and I would love to share my story and the wisdom that has been imparted upon me ever since the day of my attack in 1944. I sincerely thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to be here and to share my hurt, my pain, my wisdom, my sorrows, and most importantly, my strength and the things that have made me grow despite the difficulties I have faced in my life. As I mentioned, this is a very difficult subject for me to broach, so please bear with me as I relive the pain that has plagued my life for the past few years. My name is Recy Taylor, and this is my story. On September 3rd, in 1944, I was walking home from worshiping the Lord. It was a strange day. There were unkind feelings in the air. Me and Fanny and West were walking. Then we heard an engine roar. 6 men in a car. One of them began to accuse me of an affair. I said, "No, sir, not me. See, I had been in church all day." "Love it," that was his face. And his men took me away. They drove me deep into the woods. And what they did, I still have not understood. The punishment for their crime, they hardly paid a dime. The case was thrown out of court twice. They said, "Nigger, won't $600 suffice?" I have learned from my experiences many things. I received no justice, but the power of those who advocated on my behalf, such as the NAACP, Rosa Parks, and many others, speaks to the strength, resilience, and fortitude that the Black community has continued to foster. I faced violence, poverty, and heartbreak in the years after the attack. But in the end, my experiences have not broken me. I emerged sad, but not destitute, changed, but not corrupted, weakened, but not subjugated, hurt, but not wounded, and most importantly, stronger than ever. I am Recy Taylor, and this will forever and always be the story of my strength. As I have spoken these words today, thank you for listening to me and for hearing my story. It means the world to have an audience that will remember the injustice I faced, the injustices my community faced in the decades after, and the injustices we continue to face today. Thank you. To all, thank you for this Golden Globe. It is always a pleasure to be here every year and to see the new young faces that stand for the different movements that are taking place in our country. That being said, I'd like to speak on the Me Too movement specifically. Many women, including myself, have been victims of violence perpetrated at our expense due to the violence of white men. I'd like to speak on Recy Taylor. Taylor was a young African-American woman living in Alabama when she was abducted and raped by a group of white men in 1944. Her quest for justice proved to be a pivotal but often overlooked moment for American civil rights, and specifically African-American civil rights. Recy Taylor died 10 days ago, just shy of her 98th birthday. She lived, as we have all lived, too many years in a culture broken by brutally powerful men. For too long, women have not been heard or believed if they dared to speak their truth to the power of those men. But their time is up. The names of Recy Taylor's attackers are Herbert Lovett, Hugo Wilson Dillard York, Luther Lee, Willie Joe Culpepper, Billy Howerton, and Robert Gamble. Recy Taylor's story and her legacy lives on because time is up. Thank you.